Okay then folks, I've got Dave Palmer's Kral puncture breaker marine. He's tested the BSA Furies through it, but he didn't know how the BSA Elites would do. So I'm going to try these for him, and then he can have what's left in the tin. And we'll just see how it does. I've got it set up for 20 yards today. It's really windy, as you probably all know now. It's gusting probably up to about 25 miles an hour. So hopefully it won't affect us too much. Got a 14 shot magazine. Going from that side. Yes. So it loads from the right. Going for the left black target first. Safe to catch. The same hole. I'm noticing already it's quite a heavy trigger on this. Whether it can be adjusted I'm not quite sure yet. As far as accuracy goes, it's pellet on pellet. Sculpt a bit with the elevation. Scope I'm using today is a Valiant 6x24x50. At the moment it's set at around 17 magnification. Right, I'm going to go for the yellow target above.
812.
Now this would be a lot more accurate if the trigger weren't so heavy. Having said that, it's still grouping alright. Clicks. Hope that's not a double eight. So very accurate. This is a Mk2 version. When these first came out, there was a barrel issue, but they've solved all that now.
93.
That's it, 14 shots. Quite consistent as well, listening to some of the readings. I think I have about 118 and I'll have about 797, but most of them was around the 805, 807. Okay then, we'll now move on to the Furies. What I will do, I forgot to set the record on this, but okay. Let's go back to see what the foot pounds are. That's pretty good. They're averaging 10.9 foot-pounds, with a high of 11.1 and a low of 10.6. But that's with a light pellet in a way. So we're going on to the Furies now. They're a bit heavier, a bit more solid as well. Okay, so going on now, we'll be moving on to the Furies, the SA Furies. They weigh 8.17 grain. Going for the black dot on the right.
784.
Too far.
91.
I still didn't put the record on that phone, although I can still show you the results. I'll see if I can remember next time on the other pallet. Right, we're going for the top target.
784.
Let's see if I can. I would imagine you have to take the stock off to adjust the trigger, but it's a heavy trigger.
770.
If that trigger was lightened up, this could be superb. I mean, it's doing well now.
770.
Try for the crow.
759.
It's 10mm in the crow.
768.
That's it. So then, as far as the accuracy goes, it's really good. It's done well with both pellets. What I'll do now, I will put some of the more well-known, more expensive pellets through it. But based on that, they ain't going to do much better, to be honest. It's basically going where I'm aiming. And the wind rowdy, it's really bad, as you can probably tell. But it's making no difference to this at 20 yards. I mean, I would have got up early and gone to the range this morning, but with wind like it is here, the range is going to be twice as bad, and it was raining a bit. So if I do get a good morning over the weekend, I'll try and get down there then, and we'll push it further out. But, it's doing really well so far. So I'll get out some different pellets. I think I'll go with the Bisley Magnums, and I'll also go with the Day State Rangemaster Sovereign 10.3s. And the good thing about this one, when you get to your last shot, it won't cock anymore. Safety catch is on. Okay then, set up ready to go. Got the Sovereigns at 10.3 to start off with, followed by the Bisley Magnum. So, safety off. I'm expecting this to drop a bit, so I'll add your pellet.
717. 710.
Like I say, it's a heavy trigger, similar to what you'd find in a military rifle. I'd say it's around 6-7 pounds in weight, which is heavy for an airgun.
700. 5.
Record that one. Right, pretty happy with that. Looks like we've all gone through the same hole.
694. 712.
That was a flyer.
696. 691. 700.
Got a group
7.
going on. It's a bit of wind.
700. 5. 696. 700. 5.
It's more or less dropping a mil dot to my point of aim, and about half a mil dot to the right for the main group. Right. So based on that, I'm going to go for the Kral.
$710. 703.
That's it. So that is the Sovereigns. When you compare that to the BSAs, probably not even performed as well as they have. But could be the wind, could be the weight of this trigger. Right. Next up we'll go with the Busy Magnums. On. Okay, connected. See how the Bisley's do.
$687. 677. 680. 694. 677. 687. 680. 673. 673. 680. 682. 682. 663. 677.
That's it. Okay. 1 mil dot of old over there. I was aiming at the 12 o'clock position and more or less got on banging it. Those yellow targets I've been shooting at are 5 piece size. That's why I do them like that all the time, so you get an idea. So yeah, I mean there's 12 shots in each of the yellow targets. And we've got 4 shots in the black targets, around 12 in the yellow ones. Because I fired at the crow, didn't I? So yeah, pretty impressed. Very accurate rifle. The only thing letting it down at the moment is this trigger. So what I will do, I'll have a look inside this and see if I can adjust it for Dave, make it a bit easier. You don't want a trigger that heavy. It makes sense on a military rifle, because you don't want air triggers when you've got groups of men together. And when you're shooting in the military, you're aiming for a target that sort of size. You're going for centre mass, so you get it by 5.56 or a 7.62, you're going to go down. Don't matter where you get it, really. But an air rifle, they're more precision, so you do need a lighter trigger. What creates that problem is if you've got a linkage going from the trigger back here. So the actual trigger mechanism will still be back in the block. So you've got a linkage, and that's the downfall normally. Some manage to do it better than others. If you've got an electronic trigger like Day State, it doesn't matter because it's basically an electronic switch fly-by-wire. The trigger does actually make a difference because you've got a trigger mechanism at the front, and instead of having a sear that's being let off, once you get to that breaking point on the trigger, it's basically an electronic solenoid then that opens a valve. But some rifles are a lot better on the Bullpups. There's a new one just come out from Kral, looks really nice, so hopefully they've improved that one for the trigger wise. also the cocking lever on it is by the actual trigger itself, which is a lot better on a bullpup. I mean, if you've got it right at the back, it either means taking your shooting hand off, pulling it back. If you notice, I've been doing it that way with this hand, which is fine. I'm doing it as a bench rest. I suppose you could do it in the field, but I suppose it's easier just to tilt the rifle and cock it that way. I don't know if you're out in the field, but yeah, I mean it's easy enough to get used to, that is. But nicely balanced rifle. Being walnut, it's going to be heavier than the synthetic stock. But like most bullpups, the weight's brought back because the barrel and the is the same length barrel, but it's all brought back to the block. It's normally, if that was a standard rifle, that should butt would start there and end up there, or probably even here. So it makes the barrel longer, but because this is shorter, it's easier to handle. So in that case, I'll weigh the rifle based on the scope and the sound moderator we've got on it. I'll take the chronograph off, but yeah, accuracy wise, at the 20 yards, it's what you'd expect, more or less pellet on pellet, little 1/4 inch groups. But it would be a lot better if that trigger was light, because you're pulling back on it and you're waiting, you can't really feel a second stage. You're just pulling and pulling and pulling, and suddenly it goes, which is a shame, really. I'll check out, see if it can be adjusted any better than it is. I'll show the filling procedures on this one, how to put the air in it. It's got an adjustable rear cheek piece, so you ain't got cold metal in your cheek. It's made out of plastic. It's got an Allen key on top, so the adjustability is lengthways rather than up and down looking at it. But that's where it needs to be anyway, unless you've got a really high scope mount. But I'd say medium to low mounts for the Picatinny rail on it. Quite a nice scope actually. It's very similar to the BSA Quarry King that I've got. But it's Valiant, I don't know where they're made. If they're made in China, it's probably based on a BSA. I don't know. Although it's all where it should be. It's illuminated. I don't think there's a battery in this one because there's nothing coming on. But it's illuminated red for 10 different brightness levels. Parallax, side parallax on this one. It's from 10 yards. And then it goes to 15, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 to infinity then. So designed for air rifle or firearm. Let's just see what the parallax is. Go to 20. Quite a parallax, but I mean it doesn't matter. It's not the kind of scope you'd be assessing your range with like you can on some parallax scopes. But it's very clear. You can focus it in well for the writing I've got on there. You can read the writing dead easy. What I'll probably do is put my camera mount on this and you'll get a scope side view. I think it's spotting the radar, so I'll call it at that and we'll get back to it in a bit. Nice rifle though. So my only thing I'd say against it is a trigger, and I think you realise that by now. But having said that, for what they cost, nice little gun to have. They've got a good reputation. Well, not in the early days, because the barrel's an issue then, but once they started getting the feedback, they improved the barrels. So I'm not sure. I think they are all made Turkish barrels. I mean, hats in Kral, both made in Turkey. I know on some of the Hatsons they do have for Wolfer barrels. Maybe some of these do. Even the British Webley's made in Turkey now. I'm not sure if that's made in the Kral factory. Because a lot of the rifles are very similar looking when you look at them, the Webleys and the Krals. Yeah. If you want a quality value rifle I should say, with a lot of fun involved and a lot of options, you can't go any better than the Kral and Hatson really. You've got lots of options. Like on this particular rifle, the Kral Puncher Breaker, there's 16 different models. This one's a marine version in walnut, but they also do a normal blued finish. They do a shrouded barrel that comes back to about halfway through the Picatinny rail. So you've got shrouded versions, and then you've got different stock options. You've got the walnut, and then you've got synthetics. In the synthetics, they've got a little door there that you can open up and store your spare magazine in or whatever. And they come in black synthetic, they come in an army green, they come in a desert sand, they come in a normal woodland camouflage, and they've even got one that's got a skeleton dipped effect stuff as well. So as well as all the stocks, you've then got the blued finish, the marine finish, and on both of those you've also got the shrouded options. So there's lots of options you can get on these. Price range you're looking at around $470, and then lower down as well. Although the retail price is like $470, you can pick them up for a lot less, $375 or whatever. I know Dave Palmer told me that he got this one on the Black Friday deal, and he'd knocked 200 quid off it. That was at Solway at Tamworth. So there's a lot of places where you can get really good value. I mean, NMP Products in Sheffield, they're another one that sell these kinds of rifles at really good value. They also sell demonstrator rifles if you really want a value rifle. Yeah. If you want to start a PCP, it would be a nice one to get. And then the aftermarket, now all the 3D printer people come out, you can get other options for your rifles, different cheap pieces and things like that. So actually it's stopped raining now. What I'll do now, I'll put my camera mount on it, and you'll get a bird's eye view, and I'll fire some shots down at the reactive targets. So we'll do that, but in the meantime I'll take the chronograph off. Now this has been really good value since I bought the FX Chrono. 150 quid will get you one. You know what it does, it talks to you. It measures in lots of different options, whether you want feet seconds, foot pounds, joules, whatever. Because it attaches to the end of your barrel or shroud, you can carry on shooting. You're not wasting pellets like you would for a normal Crony, and you've not got to line it up, because once it's fixed to it, it's going to be the same every time. Yeah, and I'd suggest anybody that's got an air rifle, as soon as you've got your air rifle, get one of these, a chronograph. Doesn't matter which chronograph, but you need to make sure that your rifle is on team and legal. If you're in a restrictive airgun power country, like we are. Right, while we're here, I'm going to weigh the rifle as it stands. Let's say the walnuts will weigh more. We'll put a magazine in it. If you don't shoot without a magazine, it also comes with a single shot loader. So if you want to go single shot, you can do. Can't cock it because there's nothing in it, but the weight will be there, won't it? Oh, also, what we could test, it's got a power adjuster on the side, a little dial. It'll work as a restriction on the transfer port, but currently it sets full power. Well, what I will do, I'll turn it right down and we'll see what kind of power we get as well. So that's another test we can do. Right. Everything's switched on. Initially it's set to kilograms. And I have 4.85 kilograms. £10.7, so it's no lightweight, although like I say, all the weight's at the back of the rifle, and that's not just the rifle, it's a scope. So how many of us shoot a PCP without a scope on? It's not many have got open sights. Sure, safe quiet. He's fitted his own silencer on this one. So I'll get the scope camera attachment out and we'll see. You'll get a bird's eye view. Okay, I've got the Bisley Magnums loaded in. Bloody wind's picked up even more now, so I'm hoping the point of impact's not going to be too much out. There's a bit of movement in my camera here. That's better. So those springs that I put in this there, they're working fine now, because it does come with elastic bands, but they crack because you know what rubber's like, it perishes, but the springs are okay. spoon needs adjusting. Well, that's your 14 shots. That's a scope's eye view at 16 times. Let's bring it the power down. I get a bit more field of view now. So that's at 6 times there. And that's a 6x24 side parallax illuminated scope from Valiant, belonging to Dave Palmer. Nice little scope. Don't know how much it costs, I'll ask him. And yeah, not a bad scope at all really. It's a conventional mill dot. Right, you get 2 magazines with the rifle. It's one of the cassettes where you have to turn all the way around. It's got an arrow on it that points the direction of turn. So you rotate it fully, and it's the design where you put the pellet in backwards to start off with. So you fiddle about getting a little pellet, stick it in backwards. Hope it don't fall all the way through and out, and then you turn the cassette slightly and that should lock it in place. But here you can see the pellet's a bit trapped, so I just shove it back a bit. But it's in there, so I turn the cassette and that's it now. So all you need to do now is load each pellet one by one until we've got all 14 pellets in. By the time you've done, the cassette will have completed its full revolution again. It's ready to shoot. And that's all there is to it really. Not too bad when you get used to it. Just fiddly when you got to put things in backwards, but that's the way this one is, and that's the way quite a few of them are nowadays. So that's it. Okay, I've adjusted the trigger on it now. It's down to around £1. It's quite nice actually. So see how we get on. Put it to low power. So I promised to test it on low power. That's what it's on there. shooting the Zomers at 10.3 grains. And the drop's probably 1.5 mil dots, or around an inch at 20 yards. That's it. 14 shots fired. Safety on. Magazine out. There we go. So the triggers are easy enough to adjust. And you get them around to about £1, so that's not too bad at all. Adjusted the second stage. First stage can be adjusted to shorten it as well, so I think Dave will be pleased with that. Make it more accurate to shoot. Okay then. Well, it's been a good rifle. It's been really accurate. It's not been pellet fussy. So the only problem with it I found was the trigger pull. The weight of it, but I've adjusted that, and it's doing really well now. I think the only thing I've got to do now really is fill it back up. Full pressure gauge on the front there, and we've just got into the amber, so just ready for changing now. So you can work out how many magazines you can get for that then. So 14, 56, 60, probably about 70 or 84 shots. It's either 70 or 84 shots per fill. I think they're not regulated. I'll get the target back up and I'll show you what the drop is. Looking at the results, had an average of 483 feet per second, or a high of 496 and a low of 473. That was a 23 feet per second spread. Standard deviation 7.9 at 14 shots. Foot pounds wise, it's averaging 5.3 foot pounds with this 10.3 day state Rangemaster pellets. I think the average with those on full power is about 11.6. You can't hear it click when you adjust it, but it's got 5 different power settings. So from full to the lowest, it's dropped by around 6 foot pound. So that's pretty good actually. Yeah. So I'll turn it back up. And that's the Kral puncture breaker, and we're getting 70 to 84 shots per fill. Nice scape, as you've seen. It's not an adjustable butt pad, but it is a ventilated butt pad. Safety catch on the right hand side at the back. Adjustable cheek piece for forward and back. Dust cover on the front. So what I'll do now, I'll just top it back up, and that's basically it. So big thanks to Dave Palmer for lending me his Kral puncture breaker Marine. Hopefully I'll get the chance to use his Kral puncture jumbo. I've always liked the looks of that one. But thanks for watching. Put the fill probe in the rifle. I'm going to fill it to 200 bar. The actual fuel probe I'm putting this is off my Webley. It also fits the Hatsons, plus the Krals now. The actual cylinder on this is 280cc cylinder, and the barrel is just over 21 inch in length. Turning it, it's bang on the end of the green, so perfect.